Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Football Friday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Batters Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, y'all. Football Friday, fired up for it. Good day today as well. We got a little donuts with dad action over at St. Lillian Academy. So we'll do a shorter version here of Morning Scone because I got to get Drew up early, get him out because we have a donuts with dad. So the dads are invited to go, into the classroom with their kiddos and have donuts and coffee and kind of spend about 20 or 30 minutes with them. So got that this morning. So that'll be fun. Do us a solid. If you're on Facebook, please like the Matt Moscona page and share the post. YouTube, please subscribe up to the Matt Moscona channel and smash that like button if you haven't done so yet. We appreciate that very much. All right, y'all. Brian Kelly met with the media after injuries are kind of the story for both LSU and the Saints right now. More so with the Saints and with LSU. But Brian Kelly did meet with reporters on Thursday, then had his coaching show as well. So a couple of updates. Armani Goodwin, as we kind of expected, going to be out this week. It was just obvious, man. If you saw that injury in the second half against New Mexico last week, it did not look good. So he's in hamstring, knee. Brian Kelly called it significant. So, not surprised that Armani Goodwin is out. Certainly that means you'll see John Emery as your number one guy. He had been your number two. Josh Williams had kind of been a third down back and a situational guy. And then we'd seen Noah Kane kind of as the closer a little bit. So they all just kind of, would assume move up a chair on the depth chart with Armani Goodwin out. But you are thin there. Garrett Dellinger will be out. It was also interesting that Brian Kelly said they're not sure what they'll do at center behind Charles Turner. Last week it was Marlon Martinez who played center when the first unit came out, but he certainly did not seem committal. Also Fitzgerald West, who the former staff offered, who was a defensive lineman who the former staff offered as a center. Brian Kelly said that Fitzgerald West is back with the defensive line now. So center becomes even more important for the future. I would hope or presume that Charles Turner will be back for a fifth year next year. So you'd hope you can get 2 years out of Charles Turner. And I guess he could play a sixth because of the COVID year. But anyway. And let's see, who else did he say? Oh, Jay Ward is a go, which I expected. Jay Ward was dressed last week, just didn't play, so it made sense. So your secondary will look mostly be whole aside from Major Burns, but you get Joe Fouché back, which is certainly very good. Let's see. As far as the Saints, we are waiting on an injury report this morning. So we'll wait for the Saints to release that. But of obvious note yesterday was that Jameis was not present again. So it's certainly, at this point, if Jameis doesn't practice today, then Andy Dalton's going to start. I mean, if you're not practicing at all during the week, it's just almost impossible to see someone getting on the field on Sunday. So, all right, well, let's say some good mornings here, see what y'all got, fire away. Appreciate y'all for being here. As always, shout out to Brock, Batters Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Ryan Amanda Guidry, Jeff McKithen, Dakota Lang, good morning. Greg Duga, Earl, Joseph, Lytle, good morning. Brant Roban, feel bad for Tua, looks pretty bad. Brant, I didn't tweet anything about it when it happened because I don't want to sound insensitive. Obviously, your concern is for Tua. For those that didn't see on Thursday Night Football last night, Tua, who appeared to be concussed on Sunday, was quick turnaround back on the field on Thursday Night Football, and it was a play where he was taken down, his head slammed on the turf, and his body locked up. What I'll tell you, man, is I'm not saying that's a nothing. Please don't misunderstand. But if you want, like, I've just watched enough MMA and I've seen enough guys get sleeped where that unfortunately becomes something that is common, more common than you normally would see in other places. If you remember, I think the same thing happened to Stephen Ridley when he was with the Patriots. He took a really nasty hit and his body locked up. So yes, obviously, I guess here's my point. I wasn't surprised when, an hour later the Dolphins say, Tua's conscious, he's got feeling in all of his extremities, he's going to fly home with the team. I mean, they didn't keep him in the hospital overnight for observation. Again, it is like, it looks terrifying when you see someone's body lock up like that. I mean, you saw his fingers kind of cross, like, but again, it's just that happens pretty commonly in MMA. So I've just seen that a bunch. So it wasn't as jarring, I think, when I saw it last night. I just knew what it was. And there's a lot of people who are just crushing the NFL today and the Dolphins and all for Tua playing. And I'm not saying that there's no culpability there, but I think it's also important to note that, like, as best I can tell, Tua wasn't forcefully detained and shoved onto the team plane and then forced into uniform and onto the field like Maximus in the Colosseum in Gladiator when he's got to go fight the dude with the tigers trying to kill him too. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. I mean, Tua's a big boy. Tua could have said, So I'm not saying that he all the blame is there. There's no blame on the league. And I don't know what doctors told him, and maybe they did rush him back, and he felt fine. And they said he was fine. I don't know, but let's not completely ignore the fact that you have a grown man who can make a decision for himself. Truax, Jerry DeLucky, good morning. Hey, Dad, what's up? Matthew Garner, Mike Honcho, good morning. Been a minute, Mike Honcho. Good to see you there. All right, Remus Repeal Reserve. All right, Craig, dropped yesterday. There it is. Brant, do you think Goodwin will be back by the Tennessee game? I don't think so, Brant. I mean, again, I don't know. I'm not telling you I know the extent of it, but just looking at what I saw, I mean, soft tissue injuries can be like hamstring, like that stuff can be nagging, man. As bad as that looked, I don't know, man. Thad Landry, what's up? Chance Babbitt, 981 morning scones to tie the Cal Ripken streak. Cal Ripken broke the record with 21:31. I can't remember what his final number is before he took a day off. But that's an interesting way to look at it. Devin Johnson, Brad David, what's going on? Joey Vincent, Trivia Carter, Nicholas Cantrell, Spurge, good morning. Brad David, do you think Kiffin wants out of Ole Miss by complaining about the low crowd attendance? No, Brad, I think he's just pulling a Nick Saban because he's got enough leverage to be able to do it. Nick did the same thing in 2018 with the Bama students, complaining about them leaving early and all that sort of stuff. That's what Lane was saying. You're coming out in the second half and it's empty. And Lane has enough leverage there because he's got contract security and stability. He's won that he can do that. Right, I mean, he has the clout to be able to do it. So, does he want out? I mean, I'll tell you, he was pissed last year that he did not get a sniff by LSU or Florida. Because he knows he can't win a championship at Ole Miss. So, like, he just doesn't have the resources to compete at that level. So, and it's a weird, and this is from people who are very close to Ole Miss. It was because I had these conversations a year ago because there were a lot of LSU fans that wanted Lane Kiffin, so I made a lot of calls to Oxford about Lane. And it's such an odd contrast because the Ole Miss people love Lane Kiffin. Like they want him to be theirs forever. And like the kind of slow northern Mississippi small town vibe isn't really Lane Kiffin. And it's also a program that's never going to win a national championship. So it's kind of odd because it's like when one person in a relationship loves the other person more. It's not to say you don't love the person, but like one person is just way, way more into it. That's what that's like. Travis Broussard, Eric Bertrand, Lucy B, Migo Tez, Scone, tell me you saw the Blasphemous Coy Moore interview. I did not see the Blasphemous Coy Moore interview. Please send me a link. I would love to listen to it. Tim Gotro, good morning. Let's see, Brad. I know we have a small sample size. What do you think of Dennis Allen as a head coach? It's hard to be impressed. He bombed out in Oakland, and I think it was easy to look at that and say, well, it was Oakland, and nobody succeeds there because their organization is a disaster. Here, he was handed an organization, the keys to an organization which has been among the beacons of stability over the past 2 decades, and a really talented roster, and it does not look good so far. So I don't know how you can be impressed. Caleb Cody, Hunter Broadhead, Brian Williams, Damon Gilmore, Jesse Brown. Hello from windy, rainy Charlotte. Man, y'all be safe up there. Tropical storm kind of day. These folks are not used to this. Yeah, man, y'all be safe. Of course, Hurricane Ian is went back into the Atlantic, re-intensified, is now making landfall in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, up in that area. So y'all be safe today. Harris 22. So many people want to see Tua fail so badly. So many people are blaming him for this injury. Should have gotten rid of the ball. No, I'm not saying that, Harris. My only thing is injuries happen in sports, but he could, and I'm not saying I want him to fail. I think by all accounts certainly he's a talented guy, and he's by all accounts, a very good human, like a very likable dude. And I pull for people like that. I don't really care where they went to school. Even him playing at Bama when he had the ankle injuries and had that surgery midseason to get back out there. Dude's clearly a gamer. Like, he wants to be out there. I with all we know about head injuries and concussions, and as much as it is a focal point now, yes, absolutely, Dolphins, doctors, training staff, etc., you would hope took all the right precautions. But similarly, if Tua didn't feel right, then he shouldn't have played. And he's a grown-up, and he can make that call. Joseph felt well. People just always try to look to place and displace blame. That's my problem here. It's like we all, as adult people, live in a world where we have personal accountability. Like some of that, if Tua wasn't right, some of that has to fall on him for going back out there. Joseph felt well. Should they have kept Jameis behind to do rehab? Yes, Joseph. I said that 2 weeks ago. 100%. That was my feeling 2 weeks ago. Was after Tampa, it was leave him in New Orleans to rehab, let Dalton start against Carolina, and then in London, and then you've got a healthier, rested Jameis, hopefully, when you come home to play Seattle. Yes, I said it 2 weeks ago. So yes, completely. But it's spilled milk at this point. Lawrence Burley, good morning. Larry Garner, Kiffin needs to go back to Bama, be the OC after Bill O'Brien leaves. Yeah, that's not happening. Gregory Gordy, Kelly Vancouver, good morning. Y'all shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. If you're on Facebook, Brock is tagged there. Please go ahead and like the Brock page as well. The Orthopedics, go to Brock. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Something we have not done in a hot minute, so we're going to do it right now.
Hudco Roofing! Hudco Roofing! When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone, Ontario.
All you need is Hudco.
Hudco Roofing! Hudco Roofing! Call Hudco Roofing!
364
1007! Roofing! Hudco Roofing! Hudco
All right. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Actually, if you call 364-1007-225, of course, there is a very good shot that Ryan Terrio is the one that answers the phone. Paul Batts, good morning. Jeremy Sagely, Glenn Crowdis, good morning. My godchild scheduled her wedding during the Auburn game. Should I disown her? Yes. Poor decision making. You should have raised her better. Your job is to guide her in the ways of her faith. And when you genuflect at a purple and gold altar, Glenn, you need not schedule. That's commandment number 1. Thou shalt not schedule weddings during football season. Hang on one second, y'all. All right. We're going to wrap up a little sooner today, y'all. As I mentioned, if you're just getting here, I got Donuts with Dad at Drew's school this morning. So we're going to be there at 8:30. So I got it a little sooner than usual. So Jason Shelton, what's good? Joseph Dean Strickland, good morning. From Birmingham, Jason Horn, Tyler Alexander, good morning. Rita Yule, Paul Skeens with 2 bombs. Saw that yesterday. Paul Skeens is the Air Force transfer. Fall ball started out for LSU, and Skeens hit 2 homers yesterday. Arthur Blanchard Mortimer got my HUDCO hat the other day from Mr. Ron. Very satisfied with the quality and professionalism they did to my roof. Will always recommend to all the friends and family. Thank you so much, Arthur. Appreciate that very, very much, man. Shout out. All right. Earl, weather looks nice for LSU. Take the Tigers and the 8 points. Well, no, you wouldn't take 8 points. You would take the Tigers and you would lay 8 points. That line's coming down too, by the way. Sean Donlan, good morning. Deborah Coward. Clinton Auto, what's up, dude? Of course, Tua wants to play. The responsibilities on the league and the team to protect himself as well. Sure, but they both shoulder responsibility there, Clint. Like, you are going to inform the player, but of what's going on medically and make those suggestions and all. And yes, they can withhold him for sure. But the same thing is true the other way. Like, I've had concussions. I'm not going to say everybody's had concussions, but like, bro, if you don't feel right, don't go out there. Like, he's an adult human. Let's see, a couple more. Charlie Cavell, Dalton Pichon, hoping our defense keep us in the game against Tennessee. Yeah, we'll talk more about that next week, obviously, when we get there. Earl, any word on Dalvin Cook injury? The word 2 days ago was that, he's going to travel, and he'll try to give it a go if he can, but that may end up being like a game time decision. So, Coy Moore interview. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Brian Wynn, Brent HUDCO, take care of my gutters. Scott's fantastic. Thank you, Brent. Appreciate that very much. Scott does an awesome job. Kelly Knight, Matt Bertrand. Let's see, Bubba Tatum. Any pointers on how to clear a massive branch off a roof? Bubba, hire a professional to do it. Don't get up on your roof. That's what I would suggest. How come Dennis Allen was the only best option at the end? I'm not too impressed so far. I don't know that he was the only best option. He's just the one that they chose. Vernell Thomas, good morning. Miami dropped the ball with 2 in his concussion. They misdiagnosed from last weekend. These teams need to be punished. Look, if that's the case, here's the thing. Not having all the info. If Miami either misdiagnosed him or lied to him, then you will have lawsuits. And you should justifiably have lawsuits against Miami, the NFL, Players Association, all. But in this age, like, seriously, y'all, given what we know now about concussions and head trauma and CT and everything, and the fact that the NFL has had to settle $1 billion lawsuit, it is really hard for me to believe that Tua was misdiagnosed or that Miami treated him carelessly. Maybe so. Again, we'll get more info as this goes along, but that is hard for me to believe. I mean, the great lengths to which they go now with rules and all that sort of stuff to protect against things like head trauma. It's just hard for me to get there. We'll see. Gregory Gordy, did I miss the Drew sighting? No, Drew's in bed, but I got to go get him up because I got to get him up and get out of here. So we're ending a little bit early. So I got to bounce. Thank you all so much for watching as always. Shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Hudco is pinned in the chat. So if you would, just tap the link, fill out the form on the homepage. We'll be in touch to get you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Or if you'd rather, just call 364-1007. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. LSU Daily is already posted. It's live. Check it out however you get your podcasts. AFR3, peace.